Hi students, and welcome to our Wednesday, November 25th lesson. I just want to thank you guys for letting me know right away that there was a problem with the Zoom, because it would have, I want to make sure that you guys understand this lesson clearly, and if there's any sort of lagging, I know that that's got to be really annoying and distracting. Okay, so hopefully this video will do a better job of that. So our agenda for today's lesson is we're going to start with a warmer, and then my central focus today is going to be on teaching about the body paragraphs. We're going to learn about something called teal, and then we're going to practice teal, or you're going to practice teal, and I'm going to give you some examples of how that could go, okay? Then we're going to review the homework that we had from Monday. Okay, so throughout this lesson, there are times where I'm going to ask you to pause the video, and just please make sure that you do pause the video and you do the practice, because just like anything, just like exercise, you can read about exercise, you can listen about exercise, but unless you actually do the exercise, you're not going to get stronger and more fit, right? And the same is true for writing, right? And for learning another language. All right, so let's get started. Today's warmer is going to review what we learned about thesis statements in the last lesson. So I have an actual debate here at Oakton. At Oakton, some students are asking the administration to give them a longer Thanksgiving break. They think their Thanksgiving break is not long enough. We only have Thursday off and Friday off, right? And they say this is not long enough maybe to cook their Thanksgiving dinner or to travel to see their family, maybe not this year, but other years. And they say, okay, if you give us Thanksgiving break, a couple more days for Thanksgiving break, we can take off a couple of days for winter break, right? So we'll shorten winter break. This is a debate though, because other people believe, no way, I don't want that. I like my Thanksgiving break short, and I like my long winter break. I don't want to shorten that at all. So the question for you is, should Oakton give students a longer Thanksgiving break? First, decide on your opinion. Then, write a thesis statement that shows your opinion and shows the conflict, and also uses a modal, just like we learned in the last class. Okay, I'll ask you to pause the video so you can write down your thesis statement, and then I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay, flash forward. I hope you pause the video and you're ready with your thesis statement. If you said yes, here is an example thesis statement. Oakton ought to give students a longer Thanksgiving break, and then you may have added your reasons why. Because and right? If you didn't add the reasons, you can just finish the sentence right here. Oakton ought to give students a longer Thanksgiving break, period. Okay, so either one is okay. But in the last class, you guys asked about how to add the reasons, so I wanted to give you an example of that here. If you said no, your thesis statement might look a little bit like this. Oakton should not give students a longer Thanksgiving break. And then if you added the reasons, because and okay, so I hope that helps you just kind of remember, how do we make a thesis statement from a question? And the good news is that this is actually one of your essay topics. You're going to get a choice of 3 essay topics, and if you like this topic, you can actually write about it for your essay, and then you already have a thesis statement. How cool. All right, today's focus, we're going to talk about the body paragraphs for the persuasive essay. We're going to focus on what do I say in the body paragraphs, and also how do I say it. So there are 3 main things to include in the body paragraphs. The first is we want to give reasons in the body paragraphs. So why do I have this opinion, or why do I feel this way? The reasons that we give are going to support the thesis statement. So if my thesis is Oakton should give students a longer Thanksgiving break, each body paragraph will focus on one reason why I think Oakton should give students a longer Thanksgiving break. After I give the reason in the topic sentence, then I want to give evidence. And evidence could be examples, right? It could be facts. It could be many different things. But the evidence is the support, right, for your reason. Okay, so I could give, for example, like an example of something, that I need to do during Thanksgiving, and that's why I need a longer break. Or I could also give facts about what other schools do. How long is their Thanksgiving break, right? And then after I give the evidence, lastly, I want to explain that evidence, explain how the evidence supports my opinion. To explain, I can use connector words, subordinators, like because, if, or when, right? And these will help me to explain. So all of this, we've seen before, we've done in other essays, but it's just a good refresher to remind us, what do we do and how do we do it in the body paragraphs? Let's look at some examples to see how this is actually done. So first, plan the 2 reasons why you have this opinion. So after you have your thesis statement ready, you want to plan the 2 reasons why you have this opinion. So my thesis statement is, even though it's beautiful, you shouldn't move to California. I know you guys are like, oh, why would she say that? I thought California was like paradise. Why would she say don't move to California? What a crazy opinion. Well, I've brainstormed 2 reasons why I have this opinion, right? So first I asked myself why, and then I came up with 2 reasons. The first reason is California is way too expensive. Right? If you've ever looked for housing in California or just been in California, it's so much more expensive than Chicago. The reason number 2 is that California has too many natural disasters. And I'll get to that in a minute, but this is something that terrified me about California when I lived there. Notice that each of the reasons has a connection or matches the thesis statement. If one of your reasons doesn't support or match your thesis statement, it's not a good reason. Okay, the next step in making the body paragraphs is to explain each reason. So again, I have my thesis, you shouldn't move to California. My first reason is because California is way too expensive. And now my job needs to be to explain this reason number 1. So I can ask myself, why? Why is California too expensive? What do you mean, Jessica? And I came up with 3 ideas. So I said that housing is twice as expensive, right? Where I used to live in California, a 2-bedroom house was $1 million. $1 million, right? I could get like a 10-bedroom house in Chicago for $1 million. Gas is at least $1 more per gallon, sometimes $2 more. It's really expensive. And then jobs do pay higher, but it's not enough because everything else in California is so expensive, right? So this is going to be all of my evidence and explanation, right? Here's another one. This is my reason number 2. California has too many natural disasters, right? And so what I'd like you to do is pause the video and I'd like you to try to explain this reason. So you can ask yourself questions like, what do you mean? Or why, right? So again, pause the video because I'm going to give you the answers in just a moment, but you can practice by thinking about how could I explain this reason? Okay, here are the answers, students. You could give some examples, like forest fire is an example. Earthquakes are another example that happen in California. And then your explanation could be, these destroy homes. These natural disasters destroy homes, they kill people, and they can happen unexpectedly without warning. This is why this reason supports my thesis that you shouldn't move to California. Do you want your home to be destroyed? Do you want to be killed, right? All right, So we're doing a good job of brainstorming reasons and also explaining and giving evidence for each of those reasons. I think that now we're ready to develop our ideas a little bit more fully and organize them, right, in the body paragraph. So here's my suggestion for organizing your ideas in the body paragraph. I want you to think about this acronym TEAL. An acronym is when each letter stands for a different word. For example, the T in TEAL, it stands for topic sentence. And as we know, the topic sentence states the reason in support of your thesis statement. After the topic sentence in the body paragraph, what do you think we do next? What is the E for? Evidence. Good. So these sentences support the topic sentence by providing supporting evidence. Think facts and examples, right? What do you think the other E stands for? After evidence, what do we do next? We explain, right? Explain the evidence, those facts and examples that you just gave. Useful words for this explanation is to use if, when, because, or other connector words. And then the L is link. So we want to link back to the initial statement of the topic sentence. We don't want to repeat it, but we want to say something that kind of reminds the reader of that initial thought in the topic sentence. So I really suggest using this not only for the persuasive essay, but for many other essays where you need to provide evidence. This is a great acronym to use and to remember. Each professor will probably have their own, but they're all kind of a variation of this same acronym. Okay, so good tip for organization. Let's look at an example of how we could do TEAL for our topic about California. My topic sentence could be, one reason why California is not an ideal place to live is because it has too many natural disasters. So this tells me the reason that supports my thesis statement. The next one is a sentence that gives evidence. So I said, for example, many areas in California experience forest fires, right? Forest fire is an example of a natural disaster. Next, I have to explain how that evidence supports my opinion. So I said, this makes buying a house quite a risk because you might lose it to a forest fire, right? So here I have a connection to the evidence, right? Furthermore, forest fires can even kill people who are unable to get to safety in time, right? So I have two sentences of explanation that help support one reason why California is not a good place. And this in turn supports my thesis statement, right? It's all matching. It's all together. The last one, link. I said, if you want to ensure that you, your family, and your home will be safe, California is probably not the best state to live in. So here, this statement matches or links back to my original topic sentence, right? It shows that California is not a safe place because of these natural disasters, right? So this is how the organization could look, or my planning could look. Now it looks like a lot more like a body paragraph. I just have to put all the sentences together. Here's an example of what a really well-developed body paragraph could look like. This is probably twice as long as my expectation for 076. But if you're a student who is hoping to get 90% or above and skip 090 and go straight to 101, I would say definitely you should aim to develop your paragraph this much. This is a really good example, though, of what we call TEAL. So what I'd like you to do is find the T, topic sentence. Find E, evidence. Find E, explanation. And then find L, the link. Again, you can pause the video while you do this, and I'll give you a hint. There are two pieces of evidence, and there are two explanations. So just be careful for that. Okay, you've paused your video, you have your answers. I'm going to give you mine. In blue, we have the topic sentence. We'll remember that from before, right? In red, we have the evidence. Here we have, for example. Then we have an explanation in black, right? Here in red, I have another piece of evidence. So the first evidence talked about forest fires and gave an explanation about why forest fires are so dangerous and why it makes California not a good place to live. But then I think forest fires are not the only natural disaster. Earthquakes are another one. So the red is a second piece of evidence to support my topic sentence. Then I have a much longer explanation for the second piece of evidence. Finally, in purple, I have the linking sentence that links it back to the topic sentence. Okay, so here's how we can see it in action. It would be great if you can get 2 supporting ideas or 2 pieces of evidence and then 2 explanations. But again, if you're a student who's just struggling with getting your writing good enough for 076, maybe just start with 1 evidence, 1 explanation. If you're a student on the higher end, you've been doing really well in all the essays, you're looking to, possibly even skip English 090, I would expect at least 2 pieces of evidence and 2 explanations, if not more, right? Because your essays are going to be really long in 101. Okay, so I hope that this helps students. We're also going to look at some example essays for homework. So if you like to look at examples like this, if it's helpful, don't worry, we'll see a lot more. What I'd like you to do now is to practice using that topic that we thought about at the beginning of class. So we thought about, should Oakton lengthen Thanksgiving break and shorten winter break? So I have the topic here at the top. Some students are asking Oakton to lengthen Thanksgiving break in exchange for a shorter winter break. Do you think Oakton should lengthen Thanksgiving break and shorten winter break? Explain. So we were going to do this in groups, but now you're going to do it alone. At home, I'd like you to use Teal to plan your body paragraph. So you're going to start with a topic sentence, then evidence, then explain, and then link. And I have a worksheet for you guys to do this. So if you'll follow me to D2L, please. And on D2L, you'll see handout for Wednesday. You're going to click on this practice with body paragraphs. And again, this is something that we were going to do in groups. If you want to call one of your classmates and do it together, I think that would be great. But if not, you can just work on your own. And basically, you're just going to read the topic again. Think about what is my opinion, right? You've probably already done this. Write the thesis statement. You might have this already in your notebook from our warmer for today, right? I think Oakton should lengthen, or Oakton should not lengthen Thanksgiving break. And then finally, you're going to use Teal to plan your body paragraphs. So you're going to start with topic sentence, evidence, explain, and then link all about this thesis statement, all matching that thesis statement. And students, if you would like to send me this document, I'm happy to take a look at it and give you some feedback, right? So I know that we didn't have our normal class today, and usually I would have asked students to share out their ideas, or maybe I would have come into each group. So I want to make sure to still do that for you guys. So please feel free to just send me an email with this document, and I will check it, okay, and give you some feedback. Okay, very good, students. So hopefully you can pause the video and go through all of that on your own, and send me your document if you like, and I will check it. The last few things are going over reviewing the homework. So I'm going to actually put these onto D2L for you. So I'll put the answers to the grammar homework and also the writing homework on D2L. It's not something that we're turning in, but if you have any questions about those, please feel free to also email me and ask. Okay. All right, last things last, your homework for the weekend. So let me go ahead and publish this. Okay. All right, so going back into D2L now. Underneath the handout for Wednesday, you're going to see homework from Wednesday, November 25th. The following homework is going to be due by next Monday, November 30th. The first thing is in the Focus on Writing textbook. You're going to read page 42, which is more information about developing a body paragraph. So they give you some extra explanations and alternative things to do. Then you're going to do page 42 to 44, exercises A and B, and just bring these to class with you on Monday. The second thing is you're going to read an example essay and answer the questions that follow. I have written the answers on the last page of the example essay packet. So after you answer the questions, you can check your answers on the last page. This is the example persuasive essay. And it is simple. It uses very simple transitions like first and second, but it's very clear. And so again, if you're a student who's been struggling with the writing in this class, your goal should be make it simple and make it clear. Don't try to be all fancy, right? Just try to make it simple and clear. So the persuasive essay number 1 is a good example of a simple and a clear persuasive essay. Now, if you are a student who is looking for getting a 90% or above in this class and possibly skipping 090, you can go on to do example persuasive essay number 2, right? This one is a little bit more advanced, right? It doesn't use simple transitions, but it uses whole sentences as transitions in the topic sentence. So for this one, for those students who are looking to possibly get a 90% or higher, I would recommend focusing on essay number 2. If you're a student who's been struggling with writing, just focus on essay number 1 and that's enough, okay? So number 2, I would say, is an optional choice between these 2 essays. Number 3 is I'm giving you the persuasive essay assignment packet. So I'd like you to read it carefully and then complete each step in the packet. Most important is to complete the outline on the last page. We will write draft number 1 of this essay in class next Monday. So the more sort of organized you are in the outline, the better off you will be. So I'm going to show you that. Here is the persuasive essay packet. It explains what is a persuasive essay here. It reminds you to read the example essays with the model essays. And then in step 2, it gives you the topics. So you have 3 topics to choose from, right? Number 3 is the one that we talked about, winter break, and I linked an article here, right, that you can read. Number 2 is about Oakton Community College is worried about the health of its students due to drinking lots of soda and eating candy from the vending machines. The Oakton administration wants to ban all soda and candy from the vending machines. That means that they want to get rid of, they want to say no soda, no candy allowed. Write an essay stating whether or not you agree with this rule. And then the first one, a soccer coach at Oakton Community College isn't happy that his players have poor grades. They aren't doing so well in their classes. He wants to make it mandatory for students on the team to attend a study session after school before practice. So every day after school, students have to go to this room and they have to study by themselves, right? He thinks that maybe this will improve their grades, right? Write an essay stating if you agree or disagree with the coach's idea. Do you think it's going to work or not? So you choose one of these essay topics, write it here, which one you choose. This is just information about how to organize your essay, right? and a little information about making your thesis and outline. So I just try to give you examples and help you each step of the way. And then finally is the outline. Okay, this is probably the most important part to do. I recommend doing everything, but definitely make sure to do the outline. In this outline, it's a little bit basic. If you have your own type of outline that you like to follow, that's perfectly fine. This is just an example for you to get you started. But at this point in the semester, our last essay, I hope that everyone is able to create an outline or a different kind of plan for their essay in order to help them get ready to write. Okay? All right, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to email me. I'm going to be around and I will answer your email within 24 hours for sure. So please ask any questions that you have. Okay, thank you guys for watching and for your patience today as we navigate this technological issue. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday.